I heard the piano, and I heard it over and over and over and over again. And Axel would sing it, and so the first day that the band rehearsed it was the first thing that came to my mind, and so when we did the takes, it was all first take. So I think it was whatever the piano inspired. Yeah, it just came out natural.
When I first heard the song, I mean, the first thing that I thought was cool about it was Slash's guitar playing. It was just so, it's real unusual, you know, and it's something new, and it's so hard to, like, reinvent, you know, rock and roll guitar and stuff. And when I heard it, it's like, how the hell do you get this guitar to feedback for, you know, a 12-minute song or however long it is? I thought it was unbelievable, you know. And then, like, when I read the liner notes and actually put the thanks to him and stuff, you know, I thought that was cool.
When he told me that idea, I thought, you know, we've shot up on Sunset with the band, but he's going, no, I've got to fly down there. And I don't think I actually realised till we actually did it what a cool idea it was. I mean, it was way, way out there.
Said it was heated.
It is warmer.
I thought it was in a tank and it was heated.
Well,
It is a
It's a
tank.
tank.
It is a tank. It's just a big.
Remember, this isn't really my scene.
I know, we're sorry.
That's
If we'd have thought of something, it'd have been like
I would have been
Chicks,
here a
it
lot
would've been-
earlier.
yeah, you've got little
more
jobs.
enthusiastic. But now that I get here, I wish I'd stayed home.
So
course, we didn't
but it's
get-
got support on the back of your legs, so you're not going to be falling over. You'll feel. The only thing you will feel is
Should I put on pulleys?
There's no pulleys. It just comes out.
Straight away.
You have a wetsuit.
Put it underneath.
So you're gonna put my jeans on over a wetsuit? Jeans like this? We're gonna try. What do I need a double for? You guys gonna shoot me out of a rocket or something?
It's because it's cold, unpleasant, and we knew you wouldn't like it.
This is a new thing.
People definitely want to wear a wetsuit. It's,
You.